Welcome to LAURELDSMITH of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artwork creations. In this particular video, we will be looking at my latest archaeological, theological, microbiological, and astronomical discovery images. As we look at the origin of Judaism, we have to go back to the SAKRAH mosque, back wall area, where we see cube, dome, and octagonal and rectangular building structure ruins. When we look at this African lion Sphinx of Genesis 49 chapter and 8 verse in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, false man-based world religions, in which is brainwashing millions of Afro-Americans in their neighborhood churches and around the world. They're brainwashing the African people in relationship to their ignorance concerning who ruled over the entire African continent from north to south. And this turns out to be the SAKRAH mosque's back wall image of a black African-faced Ethiopian Sphinx of ancient Judaism. This is the 1881 face. Alright, now there's a 1440 face in the corner generated by the shadow of the sun striking the Temple Mount building ruins. And then we have a 1440 10E. Now that's the face that's generated by the Temple Mount ruins in back of the SAKRAH mosque. So that's the rectangular building that has the gray dome, and back of the octagonal building that has the golden dome. As you will see in this video, that the entire Temple Mount was about the aliens that landed upon Mount Sinai in Ezekiel's will and the will like your foes. They're extraterrestrial species, not just one alien, but it's a whole entire race of aliens within our solar system, as well as upon the planet Nibiru. This is the red YouTube image of Nibiru. When you filter it and change the color from bright and change the contrast, you would have eliminated the red color. Then you would actually see thousands upon thousands of cube, dome, octagonal, and rectangular Temple Mount building structures, in which acts like a land surface library, whereas these buildings are connected in such a way that they open the alien library upon the land surface of Nibiru. Now this is occurring in back of the SAKRAH mosque. So once I filtered the month of May 2016 red YouTube image of Nibiru and saw an African Sphinx couched down upon the land surface amongst cube and dome and octagonal and rectangular building structures, along with the Mars face, the 41.2 degrees north stone face of Cydonia that was taken by the National Space Administration in 1976, where we saw an African face in the original land surface filter in which I conducted upon the stone face of Cydonia. Now we see this African face look like a shrimp, right? And you take a fetus out of a woman, a 1 week fetus, right? It looked like a shrimp. So you hold the shrimp up with 2 fingers in front of your eye and hold a 1 week fetus up with 2 fingers. You say, man, look at that. Okay, so the Mars face is representing the embryonic origin of African Adam, not the embryonic origin of Europeans or Greeks or Romans or even the false man-based European image of Jesus, which is not the Lord God that created the African Adam civilizations back here on Earth. This is the false man-based world religions. When we see the Nibiru aliens and Ezekiel's will and the will like UFO aliens leaving land surface pyramids on Mars and on other planets within our solar system, as well as Nibiru, they are leaving a land surface visual library that can be unlocked by the human eyeball. And when I unlock this alien library concerning who, when, and where, and how African Adam was created, we must first go back and agree that the African Sphinx ruled up over the entire African continent from north to south. So in Genesis 49 chapter and 8 verse, it says, let us go up to it says in the lion Sphinx of the tribe of Judah, couched down as a lion and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And that all of thy father's children shall bow down unto thee. Well, you got to remember now, this African lion Sphinx story was denied in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible in theological racism carried out by the English Pilgrims that started the early United States government. They was in black hat coats and tights. When we go to see the black African Egyptian land of Canaan, in which the North African Lion Sphinx 1881 and the Nibiru land surface image ruled over. We're talking about the black African Egyptian land of Canaan. So this is where we look at this African Sphinx being transported above the atmosphere in Ezekiel's ruling the world like your foes, piloted by the Sinai alien and the Nibiru aliens. Now these aliens has 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand, big black oval-shaped eyes. They had smooth skin between their legs where a woman's vagina would be. In other words, they had no outer sex organs. They had no penises. So when it says God is not a man, they're referring to these aliens. So it is incorrect for Afro-American ministers and preachers to follow the false man-based European world religions and urge their churchgoers to open the King James Bible up, which is a big bald-faced lie from Europe concerning the stealing of the African Lion Sphinx Egyptian land of Canaan. Okay, so when ministers and preachers open up the Bible and tell their Sunday school goers to let's worship Jesus, they are committing the greatest brainwashing in history over the African lands of Canaan and the Afro-American community. You see, if God is not a man, every man has a penis. This defines the false man-based world religion. So if you are worshiping a man with a beard and a penis underneath his robe, this is the image of Jesus and the old man Jehovah. You raise his robe up, you see an old man with a beard and a penis. So if God is not a man, you are in theological error for worshiping the Lord God, a white man, in your Afro-American churches as the God that created the first African Adam. This goes back to the Jerusalem Temple Mount, El SAKRAH Mosque, back wall area where we see the aliens amongst these Temple Mount ruins. And we see an African Sphinx wearing a royal, I think it's a double crown, right? An Egyptian double crown. That means that we've exposed and busted the European false Bible lie when they took over Africa. So we're talking about the European faced Israelites and now illegally occupy the black African Egyptian land of Canaan. Now on the world map, you open your dictionaries up, you're going to see that if you take the African continent and put it on the black